MyMac Podcast 915. What's left to M?
And welcome, everyone, to the MyMac.com podcast. And, you know, you would think that Apple was in dire straits based on what analysts are saying. Now, some of it is true and some of it is false, and it's all overblown and pretty much inconsequential long-term. AirPod and AirPod Pro assembly lines being shut down for an unnamed new product just before the Christmas holiday season. Buying rush because, you know, that makes sense. iPhone 14 lines shut down due to dystopian COVID-19 authoritarian demands. Might be somewhat true. And M2 laptops that only measure 13 inches at best. Currently is true. Apple surely must be doomed, Gaz, except they're having one killer quarter after another. So either Apple is lying or analysts just don't have a clue. I'm not normally a betting man, but I know where I would put my money. How are you today, sir?
Well, I'm very well, thank you. And all I can say is
shut down.
Shut down.
The MyMac podcast won't be shut down. We will keep going, whatever.
If you want us to or not.
Whether you want us to or not, whether Apple wants us to or not, whether anybody wants us to or not, we will just keep on rattling along.
We'll show you.
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last show or not, but I'm actually finally finishing at the end of this month. It is
for work
D-Day.
Completely.
Yeah, so when we say completely, you know, at our age, do we ever completely retire? You know,
yes, when we die.
I call it semi-retirement in terms of, you know, proper money earning, but I might have to do a few, you know, pocket money jobs. Let's put it that way. But I am actually officially finishing at the end of this month. So we shall see what happens from there on in. If the money runs out, I will continue to work in the future somewhere. But yes, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to actually spending a little bit more time on MyMac.
So we'll be able to do more podcasts together. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'll just be more prepared. Not. No, I mean, you know, there's so many things that I'm starting to create a list for myself. Never mind Mrs. G making a list for me. I'm actually making a list for myself to do. And, you know, there'll be cycling. There'll be lots to do. There'll be lots and lots and lots to do. But, and yeah, it coming up to Christmas time, you spend a little bit more time in the house. So I'm planning on doing a little bit more with my photos and sorting those out a little
bit.
Yeah. So it's now getting close to officialdom. That's it.
I
mean, I won't be able to afford to heat the house or, you know, eat, but that's fine.
Yeah, but you won't have to work, so you'll be using much less calories.
Correct.
Yeah, that's how that works. That is exactly how that works.
Exactly. How have you been this week, and what have you been up to in your little land of Guy?
Well, funny you should ask, because I'm not going to go into the whole story, but just before we started to record, I got a call from my son, and there is all kinds of stuff going on there. But we're not going to get into that, even though I mentioned it here. But there are other things going on. For example, I've started to put together my lists for the family for Christmas. But for tech only, what I'm getting the wife is decided. Everybody else is still kind of up in the air. She has an iPad that is like one of my old ones. And by old, I mean old. This is a super old iPad. I think the display is actually kind of like with the Flintstones, where you've got the bird behind the screen that's tapping out what you're going to see.
Yeah.
So it's pretty old. I've decided I'm going to get her probably a last gen iPad with 256 gigs of storage. She only kind of uses it for mail and puzzle games and YouTube videos and so on. So it doesn't have to be like super powerful. That wasn't even really on the list for the decision process. The other thing that she's having trouble with, she's having problems syncing her mail onto her phone, which had me puzzled because she does have an iCloud account and it is turned on. And I think the mystery is solved, but I won't know until later because she only has the basic account that has, the 5 gigs of free storage and has a pretty big photo library. Now, I, on the other hand, have the 2 terabyte account with, I can have up to like 5 members of the family on.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Do you have the 2 terabyte separate, iCloud storage account, or have you combined it with your Apple One?
Oh, it's in the Apple One subscription.
Okay. Yeah.
So my original suggestion to her was, well, just come onto my account and you'll have all the storage you could possibly need. You won't have to worry about me seeing your mail or your photos or messages or anything like that because it's all separate. And, she looked at me like I was insane, as, it's her normal look.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you would have thought I put a month-old fish in front of her. The other thing I suggested was to go ahead and get the 50 gigabyte plan that it's only $1 a month, and that would take care of her problem. But so far, she has yet to do either. So at this point, I've told her I have given you 2 possible solutions. If you choose to do neither one of those, I don't want to hear about your mail problems on your phone until you do one of these things. So that's what we got going on here.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just to point out, I also,
sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I still had my banner up there. It was like, why have I got that banner up?
I still have the old iCloud 2 terabyte storage option, and I have just my membership, which I do share out with the others because you can share it out, which has got the 500 gigabytes of storage. So I've actually got 2.5 terabytes in total.
Nice.
But I'm using the 2 terabytes, which actually makes the plan cheaper than having the full plan. But obviously I don't get the news and I don't get the fitness and all that, but that's by the by.
Honestly, I don't really even use most of that stuff that much.
No.
But you can't get the 2 terabyte plan unless you get all that stuff.
But just in case anybody's thinking, all you can see, because I just went in to have a look, and basically on the iCloud storage, all I can see is actually how much storage each of the family is using. You don't see any more. You can't see anything else, only how much they're using. So,
well, to be fair, there is one caveat to that. If you have your kids on and you mark it so that you can review their stuff, and this comes into play in a bunch of different ways. It comes into play with messaging so you can make sure that, there's nothing nefarious going on there. Photos. It also comes into play with, what is it? Purchasing. So if they want to make a purchase in the App Store, it has to get your okay first if you have the settings turned on that way.
Yeah, but
and if you have a credit card,
you're not going to do that for your wife, though, are you? So,
well, not for the wife, no, but I would for my kids.
Will you? Yeah.
Well, not now because they're like 26 and 28, but before I would have done that. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to move us on.
Okay,
Guy. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
What mic is Guy using today?
No, we don't use that music for that. It's the same stuff I had last week. I know, shocker.
Shocker. You see, folks, I think I had this discussion last week.
I complained
about it then, and I'm going to complain about it again this week.
If you don't say anything, I change it. If you do say something, I haven't changed it. And somehow, some way, we have this psychic connection to where
it never works.
It's one or the other. And it's always on the opposite end of the spectrum. So because you said something this week, I haven't changed it. Now, next week, if you neglect to say it and go into Gaz's snippets, I'll be like, hey, no, hold on. I've got this, everything has changed and everything is wonderful now. And all the old stuff sucks and all the new stuff is great. I'm still on the road. NT1, and it's still connected to I love this thing, the Behringer Ultra Voice UV1. Damn it, Behringer, you should be sponsoring this show.
You should.
For as much of your stuff as I have used and purchased over the years.
Call them now.
Yeah,
anyway,
right
now. For a mic that never changed, that still took far too long. I'm not going to go into click as he snippet straight away, because if you remember, I mentioned last week that sometimes we've got to reverse out of Gazzy snippets if I press the button. Yeah. Well, I tried to do it. In fact, I didn't try to do it. I successfully got the played in reverse. And it sounds rubbish.
Oh,
it sounds awful. And it's very no, I haven't put it in because it's just awful. And it doesn't sound like that being how you think it might sound being played in reverse. So I'm not going to have a reverse of. I'm just going to say we're not doing that now. Now that's 3 times. So now we're going to go into Gazzy snippets. And I've got to play this twice. Gazzy snippets. Right. See, and that's for all the OCD people out there who will know exactly why I had to play that 5 times.
I lost track.
It was 5 times.
Okay.
Apple kills a fan's long-time archive of WWDC videos on YouTube. An Apple archivist. Oh, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Yeah. There we go. An Apple archivist has had his YouTube account disabled after Apple filed multiple takedown requests against his account. That's a shame, but it happens all over the place.
It makes no sense. These are older WWDC videos. So Apple, are you going to post them instead?
People have got to protect their IP, guy.
Well, then they should post them themselves. If you're going to take something down.
They don't want them posted. Perhaps they don't want them posted.
Well, that's it. I'm not using Apple products anymore.
I'm going to sell everything Apple I've got here, and that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Now I've got to play it again. We haven't finished it, really. Okay. Apple, most profitable company in China. Apparently, thanks to the US sanctions and Cook's diplomacy, Apple is now the most profitable company in China thanks to a combination of the US sanctions against Huawei and CEO Tim Cook's corporate diplomacy with the government, apparently. Now, I haven't watched this, but I might have to put this in the links, actually, so people can go and see it. Apparently, a YouTuber has put an M1 Mac Mini guts inside a Nintendo Wii.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, have you seen
it? I haven't watched the video, but this is very reminiscent. I don't know if you knew about this. Long time ago, Tim Robertson and Chad Perry, the original hosts of the MyMac Podcast, took the guts of a Mac Mini from, and we're talking probably 1st or 2nd gen Mac Mini, and put it into an Atari 2600 case. And it had a working CD-ROM drive.
Brilliant. I'm moving on. Apple settles with firm in AirPods patent case on the jury selection day after a previous mistrial. Apple has settled privately with the guy who says he thought of AirPods first before they were invented.
He had a patent. He had a patent that basically said, take a white thing and put it in your ear. That was his patent. Can I ask a
question? How did he think of them before they were invented? So he thought of them first, is what he meant to say. Not before they were invented, because he thought of them so they were then invented. Yeah. So he thought of them first.
Oddly enough, in his patent, they're actually called Apple AirPods.
That's crazy talk.
Nuts.
Apple has raised trade-in values for some iPhone models, but has lowered it for others. As Guy has indicated on the video, they have raised them, but by a tiny incy-wincy little bit. Apple has released iOS 16.1.1 with bug fixes and security improvements.
Who doesn't want bug fixes?
Well, that as well. Anyway, and other improvements. They've also released 13.0.1 with 2 security patches and additional bug fixes. This I found, I didn't read this. I spotted the headline. I haven't read it yet. It says Microsoft is now rolling out iCloud Photos integration with Windows 11 for user. I think that's quite interesting, actually.
Well, we actually talked about, I was on Dave Ginsburg's In Touch with iOS on Thursday night. And when this came up, I was basically talking about how I use iCloud, cloud iCloud, which sounds like not a misdemeanor, whatever that word is, on a Windows computer. And it, for stuff like pages and numbers and all the rest of that, it works fine. I haven't really tried it with much of anything else, but it's, the fact that Apple provides all of these applications through a browser just means that you don't necessarily have to be on an Apple device to do these things.
Okay, absolutely. So basically, let me just read a little bit. It says Microsoft last month announced that it is working with Apple to bring Apple TV and Apple Music apps to Windows PCs. More than that, the company teased an integration with the native Photos app on Windows 11 with iCloud Photos.
Did you say Apple TV?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know about that one.
Yep. Coolamundo, eh?
Yeah, very much so.
Apple and Amazon hit with price-fixing lawsuit alleging they colluded to raise iPhone and iPad prices. I'm not going to go there until that actually hits the actual courts. Apple has hired a former Facebook executive to lead its system information team. Uh-oh.
Yeah, how could that possibly go wrong?
There could be trouble ahead.
Anything that has Facebook in it, it's like, oh, you used to work for Facebook. Get out.
Get twat out. Apple has confirmed emergency SOS via satellite launching on iPhone coming later this month. They did tout that before. It looks like they have confirmed it will be coming this month.
So if you're going to be caught in the middle of a desert, wait at least a couple more weeks.
Yes, definitely. Apple has released a new firmware for AirPods 2, AirPods 3, AirPods Pro 1, and AirPods Max. Don't ask me how you update them. We'll find out a little bit later, because they've also released the firmware for the AirTags. Now, I think for those, you have to, probably the same for the AirPods as well, you have to make sure that they are linked to the phone, and then you have to actually wait for Apple to designately push that.
To notice.
Yes, and then push it through to you.
You wanted an update for those things. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. Okay. We'll send it. Apparently, more customers are opting for iPhone models with higher storage capacity in the US.
Wow. Well, shocking news.
Do you know, I've got a feeling that might be the way that Apple are doing the models as well. Could be the way that they're actually presenting them and costing them. People think about it. Just sigh that up. Oh, no. Why did I put that one in? I didn't want that one in.
I don't know.
Apple has limit AirDrop on iPhones in China after a file sharing feature was used by protesters.
Yeah.
I wonder where that came from, Apple. Got to be in it to change it, though, haven't you? Let's put it that way. Apparently, Apple are at least 4 years away from launching a Google search competitor.
It's going to be released the same day as the actual Apple TV and the Apple Car. Just ask Walt Mossberg. He'll tell you.
However, it could even be longer, because Apple are losing talent to Google amid the push to improve Spotlight and launch search engine. So maybe it's not going to be 4 years away. Maybe it's going to be longer.
The thing that they don't have, that nobody can verify that they're working on, is going to be delayed longer because the people who aren't necessarily assigned to work on it are leaving. Is that basically what you're saying here?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
And relating to you, the very first intro that we had, Apple's 191 billion single day surge sets a stock market record.
It's all the people that are dumping Bitcoin as fast as they possibly can.
Probably right. Mind you, they've been a bit late on that score, considering it's gone from $68,000 down to about 19. Anyway, that, folks, is the end, and you'll only hear this once, the end of Gaz's snippets.
Yeah, there was a story, and we'll get off this. There was a story I read on CNN that there was some guy that's like huge in one of the digital currency circuits, got up on Monday morning and was worth about $30 billion. And by Friday, he was broke. So, you know, how to lose $30 billion in a single week.
It's great, isn't it? Great.
Yeah.
This is superb. So what I've just done is on my iPad, that link that I said of that YouTuber, I basically just went into the link and then AirDrop came up. So I've AirDropped it to my Mac Mini. There's the link. I'm going to put it in the show notes. I love it when it works like this, Guy.
Me too.
I really love it. And I'm going to stick it in Gaz's for pick's sake. There you go. Done.
And I don't see it yet. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You do. Doesn't it work like a dream?
It does. It's amazing. Technology is freaking awesome. So are we ready to move on?
I'm always ready.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you had like a link or anything that you wanted to talk about.
Well, that's it. But I've put it in Gaz's for pick's sake. So
okay. I don't have a.
All I'm going to say one thing to you.
What's that? Yeah. No fooling. Okay. This week we're going to talk a little bit about what's left for Apple to M around, and I actually have that written here in this. What's left for Emming around? Now, we have kind of broached this subject before, and previously we've talked about the Mac Pro and the 27-inch iMac. But honestly, with the release of the Mac Studio, I think that took a lot of pressure off Apple to get out an M series Mac Pro, because honestly, the Mac Studio, especially with the M1 Ultras in it, is like an incredible machine.
Yeah.
And for most of the people that buy iMacs, 24 inches, that's probably about the right size. And if you need more screen real estate, you can certainly go and get just about any 27 or 32 inch monitor, and just connect it via USB-C or Thunderbolt or however you want to do it. Now, for the M1, it shocked me, Gaz. It literally did shock me earlier this year.
Yep.
When the iPad Pro and the iPad Air came out with M series processors.
Okay.
And the Air, of course, having the M1 and the Pro having the M2. So I get the feeling that at least as far as iPads go, that we're not that far behind from them dropping the A series processor and just putting M series in both the regular iPad and the iPad mini. Now, it's not going to be, they'll more than likely update the Air and the Pro first to, I think the Pro is already an M2, I believe. But I think they would update the Air to an M2 before they would put an M1 in the lower end regular iPad and iPad mini.
Agreed.
And at this point,
if they keep the Air.
If they keep the Air, because they have four iPad lines right now. You've got the regular iPad, you have the iPad mini, you have the iPad Air, and you have the iPad Pro. And yeah, I think either the Air or the regular can certainly be eliminated without it affecting their bottom line that much, because people are probably buying one or the other based on what their needs are for an iPad and how much they have to spend. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I'm just kind of looking. I think that the iPad Air is the one to drop because they've just recently updated the standard iPad, haven't they?
Yeah.
And it's now gone to a 10th generation. And the thing with that is, mind you, that's still an A14 Bionic chip, isn't it?
Yeah.
The thing with the Air is equally, they've still got to keep a reasonably priced iPad out there, haven't they? And I don't think the Air, from what I remember, was that reasonably priced. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just trying to.
Well, it's less expensive than the Pro.
Well, yeah, but it's more expensive than the standard one, and I think that's what I'm saying is they've got to keep a standard one out there to be able to keep that price down a little bit. Whereas the Air kind of falls. It's a bit more expensive, isn't it? So
yeah, and if you're going to spend that much, may as well go to the Pro. Because
now,
are you on the iPad Air page?
I'm on the iPad Air page. Yeah.
What sizes are in the iPad Air?
What, in terms of storage?
Screen size. No, screen size.
Screen size. Where does it tell me screen size? Let's have a look. Go down. Oh, come on. It is 10.9 inch.
And that's
same as the new. Same as the new. Same as the new iPad, which seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? You've got 8.3 for the iPad Mini. You've got 10.2 for the 9th generation iPad, which is the one with the bigger bezel on the sides. The iPad 10th generation, which is the newest one, which is still on the A14 chip. And then you've got the iPad Air, which is on the M1 chip. So whether they're just doing that so they can try and entice more money out of people, but eventually they've got to do that 10th generation one to the M version, I would say, and the smaller one, like you've put in the show notes. But I think they've got to keep them in there because they've got to have a cheaper option. But why would you, to your point, once that's got an M chip in it, why do you need the iPad Air? Because you just go to the Pro at 11 or 12.9 inch, wouldn't you? Yeah.
So you'd have basically 4 sizes of iPads. You got the 8.4 iPad Mini, the 10.9 inch iPad.
Yeah.
And then I think it's 11.1 or 11.2, something like that.
Over here they just say 11 or 11, 12.9.
And 12.9 inch iPad Pro. So there's 4 different sizes with a variety of storage options.
Yes.
And different processors and different accessories, whatever it is that you want to do. And it's all right there. So yeah, I think you're right. And I hadn't even thought about that when I was putting this together, but what is the point of the iPad Air? Does it really even matter that much anymore?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, it's got different colors, and what's crazy is the new iPad has got the A14. I don't think whether we spoke about this before, but the iPad Mini has got the A15 Bionic chip, whereas the new iPad has got the A14 Bionic chip. I presume they're trying to keep a differential there between that and the M1. I don't know. It just seems odd. I should probably not right now, obviously, but do find a comparison between like the A15 and A16 chips and the M1, and as far as core count and memory and all the rest of that, and see how they compare. Yep.
But getting off, and of course,
anyway, we're talking emming. We're talking emming.
We're emming around here.
Not iPad differentials.
The iPhone 14 Pro has the A16 Bionic chip. The regular iPhone, I think, is on the 14 or 15. I can't remember off the top of my head. But
You want me to go back?
No. Don't worry. It doesn't really matter that much. They're A series chips as compared to the M series. I don't think there's really any compelling reason why they shouldn't standardize across the board and just use M series chips across the entire line, including with the iPhones. Why not? It reduces the number of different fabs that you need to create these processors. And right now, fab space is at a premium. So if you can standardize...
I just wonder whether it's a matter of their production requirements at the moment and the way they've got production and storage of this. And there could well be still a price premium on the M1 chips until they get up to speed on the number that they're producing. So maybe that's the constraints they've got. I don't know.
Okay. But moving on to the M2.
But they should, ultimately they will go to M chips eventually.
Maybe. They could, because the M was a variant of the A, but it may be at the point now where the A is starting to become a variant of the M. So without knowing more about chip architecture, which neither one of us really know anything about, it's hard to say. As far as, sorry?
Tech is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Tech is hard. I've got something that says that somewhere. As far as the M2 goes, the only thing we've got an M2 in currently is the iPad Pro and the 13-inch MacBook Pro.
Well, unless you want me to go looking, I would have thought that you'd put that in the notes, but you haven't. So
I did. Looking? But basically, it's what it's not in, and this is more important. It's not in the MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inch, which it's in the Air as well, the MacBook Air. It's not in the Mac Studio. It's not in the 24-inch iMac, and it's not in the Mac Mini. All of those, I'm going to guess, will likely get updated to M2s over the course of the next year to a year and a half. So what could be in store for something like the so far mythical Mac Pro? If a Mac Studio has an M2 Ultra in it, and who knows, maybe because they've got that weird architecture thing where they're kind of slamming two M1 Pros together. And that's the Ultra. Well, if they could, and this was actually something that was posed to me on Twitter some time ago. If they could do it with 2, why couldn't they do it with 4? Or why couldn't they do it with 8? As far as the common bus for all of these processors go. And I don't have an answer for that. For all I know that they've got something like that set up in the lab. But that could be the only way that a non-Intel Mac Pro could operate without going to a completely different architecture that Apple hasn't even hinted at going forward into the future.
No, that isn't going to happen.
So if the Mac Pro ever comes out, it'll probably, instead of it being...
Ever comes out with a new updated version is what you mean.
Yeah.
Because it's out at the moment. You can buy a Mac Pro at the moment.
Yeah, but it's Intel.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the M series variant for the Mac Pro. It would be more like the Pro version of the Mac Studio, which is... And I
wonder whether they're selling very many Mac Pros at the moment, because...
Of the Studio or the Pro?
No, the Pro.
I can't imagine why anybody would buy one.
No, because they're all going to be waiting for the M series chips to come out, because they've almost killed themselves or shot themselves in the foot, because what they've done is they've produced such a fantastic chip that people will be going, wow, wait till they put that in the Mac Pro. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
So, everybody will be buying the Mac Mini Studios and the
or the Mac Studio, and
the Mac Studios and the
beefed up
iMacs
Mac
as well.
Minis. I don't know if professionals would buy an iMac. I don't really see the point of it.
Possibly not. I mean, they tried to go pro with it at one stage, didn't they? But anyway,
yeah.
People.
Well,
waiting, aren't they? They're going to wait because they're going to want it in that new machine. So I hope Apple aren't going, oh dear, Mac Pro sales have fallen off a cliff. No,
you think?
It. Let's finish it. Let's cut it out completely and just stick with the Mac Studio. Don't do that, Apple. Think what you've done. You've shot yourself in the foot. Get the M series in there as quickly as you possibly can.
With more processors.
However they want to configure it, they'll configure it in a way that it still costs people £25,000 to buy one
to get the full version of it. Yeah,
but
I want
they can do it.
18,000 gazillion terabytes of RAM. Just RAM, not storage. Just RAM. Yeah. Yeah. I want this thing to do what I want it to do before I even get a chance to think about it.
It may be that's what's giving them a bit of a headache at the moment. The amount of RAM that the M series chips can handle, and they're gonna if they put it out. Maths. And absolutely. But if they can only bring out something which can't handle, the insane amounts of RAM which people would expect, not saying that they should have it because they may not need it, but people will expect a large amount of RAM capability on a Mac Pro. And if the chips can't handle it yet, maybe that's why they're delaying.
Well, right now with the Mac Studio, you can get up to 64 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, well, but to a professional in the Mac Pro, that's like, is that all?
Well, if you have
Guy, at the moment, you
Ultra,
can hang on, Guy. At the moment, you can get up to 768. In fact, no, I'm lying. You can get up to 1.5 terabytes of RAM in the Mac Pro, Guy. So if you say, but a Mac Studio can get 64 gigabyte, they'll go,
they're going to kind of look at me and go, stupid boy.
And maybe that's what's causing them a problem. And that's why they're doing it.
Maybe. But I think a lot of people have high expectations for whatever the Mac Pro is that is going to be. I keep going over to the refurb store and looking at the Mac Studios that they occasionally get in there. And it's like,
you're such a sucker.
I am.
You do not need it. You don't need it.
You have a perfectly wonderful Mac Mini.
Correct.
With 32 gigs of RAM and, however much, a terabyte of storage in it. And that does everything that you need to do right now.
The only thing it'll fall over slightly on is if you put hundreds of thousands of lines into a numbers spreadsheet. That's the only thing it'll fall over. So how often are you doing that?
Oh, every day.
Well, then you need the studio, mate. And even then it might still fail.
Yeah. It'll be like, those aren't real numbers. Those are imaginary numbers.
No. It'll say, that's numbers and that's Excel type work. We don't like doing that.
We like videos. What was the name of the actor? Justin, whatever his name was.
Oh, yeah.
When they used to have the Mac versus PC commercials. God, I missed those ads. Those were such great ads. Anyway, that's pretty much all we have for this part. If you have a Mac Studio, get a hold of us. Give it to me. Get a hold of us in one way or another. Tell us what you're using it for. And if you've run into any bottlenecks for whatever it is that you do use it for. I imagine most people that have them are using them for audio or video or things along those lines.
I would expect so.
So yeah, I think that's what we got going on here, guys.
Yeah.
Are you nodding your head too?
I might just be. Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip. Oh, crikey, have I got my tips open? I haven't got my tips
You guys
open.
have to watch the video, and I break it into snippets for you. You have to watch the video just to see the different dances that Gaz and I do during the Gaz's tips off.
I've been on a purge with my tips recently, bit of an iOS purge. I will get off iOS purges and go back onto Mac eventually, but I've got a couple more of iOS tips for you, Guy. You know when you're typing a URL on your iOS device, and when you get to the period of the www.Gaz a really great guy dot, well, when you click that dot or that period. When you click on that period at the end, if you long press on the period, you should get a listing of possible URL completions, i.e. .com, .education, or .co.uk, etc., etc. So just long press when you're doing it, and then you can just quickly swipe up to that rather than having to type that end completion for your URL.
So it'll just go right to gazisawonderful.edu.
Absolutely. There's another one here which I've found out about, and that is: have you been in the Maps app on your phone recently? Do you know what happens?
What app?
Maps.
Yes. Yes.
Maps app. If you double tap, but on that second tap, hold your finger on the screen. Do you know what you can do then? If you move your finger up or down the screen, the map will zoom in or out accordingly. And I believe, though I haven't tested this, I believe it works on Google Maps as well. How about that? Did you know that?
I did not.
Because most people will double click with the fingers and then, scroll in and out, with their fingers, move the fingers apart or together again to zoom in or out. If you double tap on that second tap, hold it on your screen, move it up or down the screen, it zooms in or out. Bazinga.
That is so cool. Head nodding.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz's tips. Gaz, you are absolutely right.
Okay.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
You can't call us a nerf herder. Only we can call us nerf herders.
Who are you calling scruffy?
Who are you calling scruffy looking?
Have you got any pick sakes? Because I've got two.
I do not. Tell me all about those for pick sakes.
Okay, so my first pick sake is the link, which I put in there to that watch the YouTuber put in a Mac Mini guts inside a Nintendo video. But also, we are loving Bad Sisters on Apple TV Plus, Guy.
Oh,
you
really?
Got to watch Bad Sisters. It's really good. It's a bit weird, but it is really good. It's funny. Got a bit of black humor in there. Love it. Absolutely love it. So Bad Sisters on Apple TV Plus. Go for it, folks. Watch it. Loving it.
Something I have rediscovered. I started to watch it and then got caught up in a bunch of other stuff. And I just put this here.
Did you not finish watching that?
No. I just saw the fourth episode yesterday.
Okay.
I watched the first two and then forgot about it and then started rewatching it again. And like so many other shows that are part of these streaming services, it starts off slow, sort of. And then it gets really super intense. But in the case of this particular program, Slow Horses, it actually starts out fast, gets slow, and then goes fast again.
Like
this show is basically about Gary Oldman is in charge of all of these techs and spies that have screwed up, and they're just they don't want to fire them, but they're just kind of dumped into this one organization. And little by little, they start getting re-involved with spycraft over in the UK, and it's just so good. And for all of the people who were so used to seeing Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, because he's got that kind of look to him in this show, because he's got the glasses and the whole thing.
He's a bit of a scruff bag.
He's a little scruffy. He's a little scruffy. But
who are you calling scruffy?
Who are you calling, you nerf herder? The action and the weird thing about it is, like, if you watch, and I know I'm going long in this, and I'm sorry.
You are.
I am
going long.
When you watch something like a James Bond flick, and they have an action sequence that starts up. It's like bam, and it's like this long, intense, like the car chases and all the rest of that. With Slow Horses, it's just as intense, but it's a slow build. Like when he goes, I'm not going to say what it is, but when he goes to the house to help with the kidnapper.
Can I say, first of all, we have spoken about Slow Horses in the past because I've said about it in the past, and you'd also waxed lyrical on the first 2 episodes when you watched them as well.
Yes.
And now this is a typical guy. So if anybody was watching the video and seeing me ducking out and laughing, it made me laugh that Guy not only has to tell you about Slow Horses, but he's got to go so in depth. Yeah. I told you to watch Bad Sisters. It's great. Just go and watch it. Really funny. No, Guy's got to give you the whole précis.
Slow Horses is good. Go watch it.
I love him for it.
It's a great show. Compared to a lot of the other stuff on Apple TV, this is really, really good.
Well, actually, I've not watched. I have seen a couple, but actually, proportionally, their stuff proportionally is much better than some of the other.
Yeah, I'm still stuck. I still haven't finished For All Mankind, and I never got past season 1 of the TV interview show, whatever the hell that was.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Morning,
whatever.
Something. Yeah.
Never cared for it. I just could not finish it. Didn't think.
Yeah,
it was
I kind of got into that.
But a lot of the stuff on Apple TV is really good, and I think we've just told you two great shows on Apple TV. Though I haven't watched Bad Sisters yet. However, something I'm kind of looking forward to, and I don't usually say this. It's on Netflix. It's a show involving Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family. Her going to this really bizarre boarding school, and it's done by Tim Burton. And from the trailer, it looks fantastic. Go on YouTube, go find the trailer for whatever they're calling the Wednesday Addams series that's coming up. There's some very, very funny, very what's a good word when you're talking about the Addams Family? Not grotesque, creepy, bizarre.
Bizarre. Bizarre is a better word.
It looks really, really good. All right. If you can, please go to timeout.com, check out Ukrainian donation sites, or just go right to the Ukrainian Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders. Make a donation. They really, really need your help, and we wish them all the best of luck. Now, if you've done an iTunes review, we don't normally talk about this. It's not every week we talk about this. If you've done an iTunes review and we speak about it on the show, and you'll have to tell us because we're not informed when these reviews come in, send me your email along with who, your name and who did the review, or whatever name it was you used for the review. And I will send you a Woody, which is a big W, big O, big O, big T, little I, little E. That is a Woody. And speaking of feedback, we have a lot of audio feedback this week.
First of all, I'm going to just say this. TEDx on Twitter, it's seemingly
you're still on Twitter?
Well, sort
it's
of.
Such a dumpster fire. It was a dumpster fire before. Now it's like a nuclear dumpster fire.
Yeah. Anyway, that aside, Guy, can I just talk about,
of course,
the feedback that we're getting? TEDx on Twitter, who might be moving from Twitter, my watch activation of opening up my Mac Mini seems to be working now without me having to wave my watch around. It seems to have now locked in, and actually it's opening it whenever. Not when I first sign in, but when I've signed in and it closes down, it's reactivating. So that seems to be working. I hope yours is too. Now, on to the other feedback that we got.
And I think, isn't his the first one?
Who? Mac Jim?
Mac Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, and here it is.
I try to consume the MyMac Podcast show by Guy and Gaz. It's a bit tough going.
It would be. It really would be.
I like the way. Did you hear him actually spit some of that out?
Yeah. Well, we are an acquired taste. There is no doubt about that.
We are. That's true. That's
yeah. We could use a little seasoning.
Yeah. Well, you got the ginger this side, but you're a bit pale.
There's a bit. Yeah. And we have the return of Marcus. Huge return of Marcus this week.
Yes. So we're going to sit back and listen.
Yeah. So, Gaz, if you need to take a bathroom break or something, go right ahead. Here it is.
Well, I was going to wash the car.
Hey, this is Marcus in Minnesota again.
Wash the
recording
car.
from my
Hi,
Ultra Mega Watch. And,
sounds good,
I just wanted to send a quick blurb. You're talking about the iPad weather app. I think that's something they should have had on the original version or like a iOS update later, because why not?
I agree.
Not all people were in the Apple ecosystem when they got their first iPad and would also like to know the weather. But I think that's a gimmick that lots of companies use to keep their company's products viable and to get people buying a newer product, is they limit what they can do. And we saw that with jailbreaking and just simple copy and paste and the scrolling that all came from the jailbreak community. And Apple was just all jitty about to say, hey, here's our next feature. And
jitty.
Everybody that jailbroke was like,
word.
Yay, about time. And that kind of was the point of it. But yeah, the iPad weather app is very lovely. I love using it. It does have all the information you need. And I'm out because I'm on my way to work. Goodbye.
Well, not quite goodbye yet. Not quite goodbye yet.
Hey, this is Marcus in Minnesota.
Whoop. No, don't start again. Yeah, I think that the weather app on the iPad should have been there practically from the beginning. All right, so here's another one from Marcus.
Very quick follow-up. My last message said that scrolling came from jailbreaking. I'm not sure about that, but the pull to refresh from the top was definitely in the jailbreak community first, and then Apple stole it.
What? Apple steal tech?
No.
No way.
No, never.
So I failed to send the 2 messages I recorded for last week for the podcast you did last couple days ago, whatever the hell it was. And I'm listening to the Butt Pod, which is a podcast by Brent Butt, the brilliant comedian and creator of Corner Gas, cartoon, movie, TV show, all that. He's great. And there's a segment he has called More Smarter. And he does the, with that echoing effect. I don't know what you call it.
For us, it would be a defect.
That would be a great segment for the MyMac.com podcast. Right? More Smarter.
We can't use that. Somebody else has that.
Yeah, but the thing is, we can't do that full stop. Never mind pinching it from someone else. And equally, I'd like to know the radio interference that seemingly was coming over that recording, Marcus, or were you in a really heavy rainstorm? That's just a question. Just a question.
And honestly, he says he recorded that with his watch. That sounded really good.
Yeah, well, we said that before because he'd sent one in on the watch on his Ultra, and it was brilliant.
I didn't remember that. Shocker.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but it sounded really good, Marcus, and I'm stunned. If you like Marcus, actually, he doesn't contribute other than feedback. But if you would like to contribute monetarily to the MyMac.com podcast, you can do so by going. Boy, that was just the crappiest segue ever. Patreon.com.
Marcus, we love you. Just carry on, all right?
Carry on. You do you, Marcus. You just do you.
Just do carry on, Marcus.
Carry on. Patreon.com/MacBird. You can buy me coffee.
You wait till you listen back to that, guy. You wait till you listen back to that.
Yeah, I think I'm in for it. I'm probably in for it. You can also buy me a coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or pay a pal at paypal.me/ Mac Parrot. Now, guess. If people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do so?
Ever so easy, Guy. Ever so easy. They'd send an email to gaz@mymac.com or on the Twitters if you want to use Twitter. Twitter.com/gazmaz. Hang on a minute. Hang on a cotton dong minute. Or on the Twitters.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say cotton dong?
Cotton dingy dim.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Look, just let me finish.
Go ahead.
You let me finish.
I will.
Gazmaz, Gazmaz. I am also on Mastodon as Gazmaz, Gazmaz.
Cars.
But you can also get us, if you still use Twitters, on Guy and Gaz, GUYANDGAZ.
Cars.
Are you on Mastodon as well?
I am, as Mac Parrot, oddly enough.
Yes.
How weird
you're
is
not
that?
Following me, are you? I'll have to follow you.
I didn't even know you were on Mastodon.
Well, I am on Mastodon.
Well, real quick, so before we move on, a lot of people that are upset or whatever about Elon Musk and Twitter are talking about they're going to move everything over to Mastodon. The only problem with that is Mastodon is not Twitter.
No, it's not.
You are not going to, and it's part of the reason why I think a lot of the people saying that they're going to go to Mastodon and leave Twitter will be coming back to Twitter, because you're not going to get the same level of engagement on Mastodon that you currently will on Twitter. And we'll see what happens in the future. It's just not set up the same way.
No, and there's a few other differences as well. But anyway, you can also send email into feedback, FWDBACK, at mymac.com. Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go.
His name was Guy.
Guy.
Yeah!
Guy.
My guy?
So Guy.
Who the hell even knows who this guy is?
Who are you, really?
Guy. Have a good one, Guy. I don't know who this guy is.
Any guy.
You can do so much better than that guy.
Guy, we need to talk.
It's such a classic Guy line.
Who the hell even knows who this guy is?
Oh, I've done that one. Anyway.
Guy.
If you want
an email from Guy.
No fooling.
How would they do it?
Every week. I don't know if this will be the week that I completely lose my stuff. You can send me an email to guy@mymac.com or at podcast@vertshark.com. You can go to vertshark.com, where you'll see a lot of old content because it hasn't been updated in a very long time, but one day. You can also go on over to the Tubes of You and like, share, subscribe. Did you see it the first time? Like, share, subscribe to the Vert Shark channel. Well, you will get not only the video version of the MyMac podcast, you will also get Guy's Daily Drive, which is the other completely insane podcast that I do, where I talk and live cast in my car while I go to work.
Easy.
It's so why I do that and how that even became a thing in my head, I could not even tell you.
Yes.
What else? There's Mike Parrot and Vert Shark. There you go. Over on the Twitters. And you can go on over to Mastodon. If you were managed to get through all of the levels to get an account on Mastodon, and they have not made it easy, you can find me over there under the name Mac Parrot. It's right there. And we'll have to put that in the show notes as another contact point.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
You can also contact us through a telephone-like device or your smartphone by dialing 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436. I'm losing my voice. 9501. That number again is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. Or take that 1 and +1 into the backyard and then lock the door behind it and just go right to the Skype application and dial 703-436-9501. Now, this is the part of the show where I very sincerely Number one, apologize for the last 45 to 50 minutes of your life that we have taken from you. But it's all been in the spirit of good fun. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for joining us here on the MyMac.com podcast. We really, really do appreciate the fact, and this is with all sincerity, that you take the time to download and listen. I don't know why I have to say that, but I do. And listen to the MyMac.com podcast. We really do appreciate it. And Gaz, I think we're good enough this week. Better than last week. This week we were good enough. And this week we were damn sure smart enough. And that Wilf gone it. Woof, woof. I mix up my W's. Wilf, woof, woof. Dong it. God, doggone it. People, woof, woof, like us.
Guy?
Yes.
How can you tell if a tree is a dogwood variant? By its bark.
I'm thinking all different kinds of things, but I don't know why I didn't think of bark.
End.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home.